Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here, and of course, I'm joined as always with my co-host Darion Smith and Jimmy Marion. And UAB was able to get it done in the semifinals, beating Utah Valley in overtime, 88-86. We are currently recording this. 11:06 Central Time. So we're going to make this a super brief episode. But all of us are excited. But Darion, you want to start us off talking about this ball game?
Yeah, well, this was an exciting one, wasn't it? Like, we knew that this one was going to be a barn burner. We knew that the styles of play between the first game we saw with Wisconsin and North Texas would be the exact opposite of what we saw between our game with Utah Valley, and everything delivered as advertised. It was up and down, high energy, two teams that didn't want to go home, horrible ESPN2 announcers. But it was horrible calls by the refs. And I'm not a ref. I'm not a blame the ref guy, but come on.
Hey, that KJ Buffin, that last foul, Jimmy was in the, text thread. That was awful. Like that was a terrible call.
Atrocious. And I thought we could review, like, it was under 2 minutes. What happened to them? Is that not reviewable?
Yeah, I don't think that's a reviewable, but it should be.
I thought any call under 2 minutes was, but obviously I'm not on my rule book there. But man, it was a great gritty win. We had a lot going against us. I mean, they were, Jesus, bro, like they were loving them so much. As much as they could. I'm like, man, listen, like this is like an advertisement for Utah Valley. Like, oh, their president, their green men, everything Utah Valley, their enrollment. I'm like, okay, I get it. Bendago, we've talked about him, right. But one thing they didn't talk about is how he disappeared down the stretch because he got winded. I saw when we went on timeout, it was a TV timeout. And it was real quick, but you could see he bent over and he was sucking wind. He couldn't even jump no more. Y'all realize he didn't catch any oops. But that was one reason I wanted us to keep running, because even though we were in foul trouble, it forced us to keep subbing in Trey Jemison and Javian Davis, and we kept on having to sub. We kept our guys fresh. They had one guy that and he actually stepped up. It was their backup center. He had like 7 points. This guy's not a scorer at all, but he kept them afloat. I can't even think of his name.
Talking about Fuller?
No, not Fuller. Fuller's the starter. It was the other guy they had come off the bench.
Oh, Potter.
Yeah, Potter. He doesn't score. The dude probably has a 4.1 GPA, and like he's not that guy, but he was able to do. He was able to, do some stuff and keep them in it and give them some good quality minutes in the first half. The second half, Bendago, they tried to have him take it home, but he just wasn't. He wasn't fit enough. I mean, well, I'm not gonna say he wasn't fit enough. It was a long game. It was overtime, and it was high pace the whole game, and he disappeared. But no, they didn't talk about that. They barely wanted to talk about Trey. I mean, they barely wanted to talk about Ty Brewer in the game he was having. He put up 30. I'm like, man, like this guy, he's having one of those games. We saw him have one earlier, and we needed every single point. He played good defense. Ty Brewer, it has really shined this postseason. I'm happy for him. And even when it was a night where Jelly was kind of inefficient. I think he probably finished with 5 for 24 maybe, or something in that area. But as you see, we are a team. You remember early in the year when we were having those slides, we were not connected. But now it's funny because I remember us talking about leading up when we was going through that losing streak in the season. And we were saying, like, hey, none of that matters now. Only thing that matters is us getting better game by game. We were playing for the tournament at that time. Well, the fruits of that labor is paying off now. and we see that this team is connected and we win in multiple ways. Shout out to Andy Kennedy for coaching this group up and their coaching staff. And shout out for the team for being malleable enough and being coachable enough to learn to win in different ways.
Hey, speaking of shout outs to everyone that participated in the Twitter space at halftime. That went well again, I think. So enjoyed catching up with all the fans there at halftime and looking at those trends and seeing how we were doing and getting prepared for the second half. And, what a great game. Another thing that really stands out to me is, this was another nail biter. This was a close game. And early in the season, we suffered quite a few losses in close games, in late game situations. We were talking in the text thread. I said, here at the end of regulation, step one is to get a shot off. That's an area where we've had a few opportunities. I believe it was one that sticks out is on the road trip down to FIU and FAU. I believe it was against FIU on that Thursday night. We didn't get a shot off, but, they did get Jelly got a look at the rim and KJ had an opportunity to get that put back. So it was so dang close there at the end. And, missing that and going into overtime, just created another challenge that this team overcame there in overtime. And so, you guys have touched base on Ty a little bit already, but I mean, just what an incredible showing. I was sitting there thinking during the game that, isn't the NBA Summer League in Vegas? I think Ty should just stay and he should just try to get himself on a team there because he really is cooking right now, man. 13 of 17 from the field, doing it in every area. We talked about some of the trends and needing to get offensive boards. He had 4 offensive rebounds, and at least 2 of them, he just shook that rim and had monster slams back, 30 points. I mean, you can't say enough about his performance in this ball game. And, again, Jelly, Darion already went through the stat line from a field goal shooting perspective, but look at the other stats that he did from getting 5 boards. There was one board that came down, over the 7-footer Bandango for UVU. And I was like, man, he's really playing great again, just being assertive in other areas. He had 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. So really proud of Jelly for getting his teammates involved. And I talked about it in the Twitter space at halftime, his need to facilitate, so I thought he did fairly well there in the second half. And shout out to the whole team. Those shooting percentages against a good Utah Valley team is impressive. We end the game at almost 41% from the field and 44% from 3. You guys, we've talked about it. I've talked about it again and again. This team, Utah Valley, is really good at holding their opponents, not just to 3-point makes, but also from a 3-point percentage to a low percentage. For us to shoot 44% and hit 7 threes was absolutely critical. And look at our bench points. I thought Javian Davis came in, and right when he came in, I was thinking this is one of his, good nights. Like he's about to get cooking like in the paint. He did have 7 points, and he hit his first 3 free throws. I believe his only miss was on that on his 4th. So, and these are points that we needed. Looking at the bench, we ended with 25 points on the bench. So, really impressive on a night where we needed every single point. But, again, just shout out to the team. The last thing I'll say, I know we're doing a quick pod, is just to look at those trends again that we talked about in the pod. We talked about the need to get offensive rebounds. I said we needed to be in double digits. We got 14 offensive rebounds. Check. We talked about 3-pointers, made in the ball game. I said we needed to get over 5. We had 7. I know we went to overtime, but I believe we had 6 at the end of regulation. We talked about turnovers, that we needed to turn it over 13 or less times. We had 11. And from an assist, Darren, we talked about in the last podcast, I said a good indicator for us is to keep Utah Valley at 12 or less assists. They finished with 13 assists, and that is with overtime. So despite Utah Valley getting 86 points, to me, I think that we were forcing Utah Valley into making some tough shots, some contested shots one-on-one. Of course, they had some, success on their typical lobs and their pick and roll. But I thought that, looking at those trends again, that the team did a great job. And I am very excited that we have another game, one more game in Vegas on Thursday night. And who are we going against, guys? Who won the other game on the other side of the bracket?
Hey man, y'all know what time it is, man. Let's go. Yeah, it's been prophesized. It's been we've been saying that it's gonna happen, and here we are. I've been wanting to see these guys. Like, I ain't done with them. I am not. I'm on the front line with this one. Let's go. Let's do it. North Texas, y'all know what's up. Come on, y'all. It's y'all time. It's time for us to blaze y'all up. Y'all know what happened to y'all last time. Y'all know what happened to y'all last time. Y'all about to get whooped again. Let's do it, man. No, but that's just a little trash talk, man. This is gonna be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one. It's going to be physical. I expect it to be chippy. I expect it to be emotional. I expect all of the passion. I don't know what kind of game, what kind of style it's going to take on, but I do know that everybody's going to be there. I know every UAB fan is going to be tuned in to the TV. I'm pretty sure some people is going to take the trip out to Vegas. So I'm so pumped up about this one. And I want to give Coach Kennedy another shout out because I believe his adjustment won the game. They were really spamming that pick and roll, and they were either getting downhill with Woodbury or looking for that lob or getting fouled. We did a good job of adjusting. They didn't see it all game, and all of a sudden our bigs showed the ability to trap. We trapped on the final 4 pick and rolls, and that had them all out of sorts. So shout out to the coaching staff. Way to give your team, and that is how you coach in game. You make a switch. You give your team just an edge, and man, I hope we keep Coach Kennedy around for a long time.
Yeah, me too. And hey, this is UAB's 29th win this season, so that does set a program record for most wins in a season. And get to go for number 30 Thursday night, 8:30, ESPN2 against North Texas for the 4th time this season. So, but yeah, just what Darion said. I think this is going to be a very intriguing matchup. Now, one thing to note, I'm not sure if all UAB fans are aware, but Usman, the big for North Texas, he has missed this whole NIT tournament due to, I think he had a personal reason, like a family emergency. So he will not be in action Thursday night. But hey, I mean, North Texas still has been playing really good basketball, and they found a way, even when I counted them out against Wisconsin. Like when Wisconsin went up by like 12 or 14, and they were making like all their 3-pointers and stuff. Okay, I was like, okay, no, there's no way North Texas can win this. But my goodness, North Texas shuts them out the last 10 minutes of the game and introduces the whole Big Ten to North Texas basketball. And whew, I've got a feeling that Thursday night is going to be another exciting game. I'm just curious to see how UAB kind of attacks this, with Usman not being there. Like North Texas has got more guard heavy lately. I mean, it's always been the Tyler Perry show, but I mean, their guards, like Scott's getting involved more. So I'm very, very interested to see what's going to happen Thursday night. And I do think that as much as the ESPN announcers today was bragging on Judy McLeod, can we talk real quick just for a minute? I know we're running late, but for a minute, my goodness, did Judy McLeod hand them some money or something before that broadcast? Because they were just hounding on the great job she's doing in Conference USA. And I think late in the second half, they finally mentioned, oh, and by the way, all these teams that are, winning the postseason, they're going to be in the American. But that's okay. Judy McLeod's reloading with teams coming into Conference USA. Like,
John,
come on now.
She promised them a ride shotgun in that little Jeep that she likes to ride in. That's what she did. She said, we will ride down the Vegas Strip in the Jeep.
If you want to come and take a ride with me.
Whoop! Oh my! Yeah, Nelly.
Must be the money. Hey, so we go from Swifty to Nelly. So hope the listeners appreciate the transition from two episodes.
The versatility is real.
Hey, I wanna throw this at y'all. Did y'all know that there are 6 teams left in college basketball, and 3 of them are from Conference USA?
Ooh. Good job, Judy.
Judy,
great job. Judy. Yeah, great job.
On a personal note, I wanted to tell Blazer Nation thank you. We had a tragedy happen with one of our friends earlier today, and thank you to Blazer Nation. I just prayers. If you guys listen to this, can we have one of our close friends is such a good wife. She's gonna be with 2 kids by herself now. She lost her husband, and it was just so unexpected. So thank you guys so much for being like family to me. Prayers are needed for her, and just thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely prayers up. Darion, thinking of you guys, and of course their family too. Jimmy, anything else to add on this, or we can wrap it at 16 minutes? I think that's perfect.
Hey, let's go to bed.
Let's go to bed. Yeah, we got a championship to prepare for Thursday.
Let's get this dub Thursday, baby. Let's do it.
Let's go. Darion, you want to close us out?
Blazer Nation, just blaze.
Yes.